Hi guys, Rob with Expedition Team Overland here with Zach from Midland Radios. We're doing a little bit of a informal interview going over the history of Midland and how they've expanded into the Jeep Jamboree market and Jeep and overlanding market. So I'll let Zach do his introduction.
Hey, well, I appreciate you having us on here. We're thrilled to have you as one of our influencers repping our product. Like Rob said, my name is Zach Olshawish. I'm a product manager with Midland. I've been with the company for a few months now. Very excited about some of the products we're working on, some of the upcoming developments that we're getting ready to launch into the market. So when I got the opportunity to come talk about the MicroMobile product with an experienced overlander like yourself, I jumped at the opportunity.
Oh, great. Well, thank you. Just real quick, you want to go over the history of Midland, the company itself?
Sure. Yeah. So we've been around for quite a while. Founded in 1959. We're most famous for being the first supplier of CB radios in the U.S. So that's kind of our claim to fame. We're also first to the market with GMRS. Kansas City, Missouri, beautiful place, the Paris of the Plains, as they call it. And we are currently the leading U.S. supplier of two-way radios, emergency radios, and weather radios. You can find our product in pretty much most every major retailer, everywhere online, and we've got products targeted towards outdoors enthusiasts like yourself, athletics, business, and about anybody else you can think of.
That's awesome. Now you guys have CB, GMRS FRS, and amateur radios. So if you just want to do a quick, you want to talk about what we use, because that's all three types of forms of communication are used in most Jeep clubs and overlanding groups. Obviously, CB's been around for a lot longer and was more popular, but it seems like the amateur radio has limitations as well. But GMRS is kind of that happy medium between the two.
Yeah, we've really, I mean, CB was our bread and butter for a very long time, and we've to some degree moved away from it. Obviously, we still have the product, we still offer the product, and if that's what somebody's interested in, we can provide it. And ham radio is a similar situation. It's what the disadvantage of ham radio is the license examination, right? You have to go through this process and the licensing. You do get more frequencies, right? And you can get good range because there's some infrastructure with signal repeaters. So you can do some really cool things with ham radio. But we find that most of our customers prefer this GMRS once they try it. And so we've really invested heavily into GMRS, into our MicroMobile product line. And while you do have to have a license to operate GMRS, it's only $70. There's no exam, and that one license, that $70, will cover your entire family for a decade. So it's really minimal investment, and it's just a great product, much more powerful than CB radio, and you don't get that staticky feedback like you do. It's just clear, crisp communication. And it's one of those things, once you try it, you really don't want to use CB again.
Yeah, that's what happened with me. I took the CB out of my Jeep in about 2016, and I think I ran one of your first MicroMobiles back then, and I'm now on my third one. Between the two Jeeps, I'm on my third GMRS radio. One thing that when I looked into what was best for me and our group as a whole, we talked about was, as you said, with ham, you have an amateur radio, you have the advantage of repeaters and another network. But when it all comes down to it, if you're extremely remote or you're in a Colorado Rockies in the middle of a valley, you might not be able to get to a repeater. There might not be a repeater available. So you still might not be able to communicate with the rest of the world for an SOS device. So we have other satellite communications for that. So that's where I kind of thought that the GMRS was the better one, because I'm not going to talk to the space station, but if I need to talk to the Jeeps in front of me, that seems like the happy medium of the two.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And you make a good point. You do have to be near those repeater stations to leverage some of the good benefits of ham radio. And there is a GMRS repeater network kind of being built. It's still kind of in its infancy, but yeah, with the GMRS, you get good power, and so locally you can get up to pretty good distances. So for yours, do you use the which MicroMobile product do you use?
I have the MXT 400.
400. Yeah, so that's our most powerful. The 40 watt, and I'm guessing you get pretty good range with that relative to CB and the other products you use, right?
Yeah, my buddy had a MXT 400 in his Jeep, and just I was in the driveway of my house. I'm a little bit on a hill, and we got about 6 miles as the bird flies going through terrain and foliage and stuff like that. So we were pretty happy with that.
Yep, that's pretty solid. And the good news is we can even be more powerful if we need to with GMRS, get up to 50 watt. And I'm not going to say that's something we're working on, but customers always want more range. So we're going to do whatever we can to get you guys more range.
We always need more power, as Tim Allen used to say.
Yep.
Why do you think GMRS is growing in the communications market? I can't really speak for construction and stuff like that, but definitely in the overland Jeep market. Why do you see that as a growing base?
Yeah, so I think there's a few things driving that. Obviously the power is a big thing relative to CB, right? So we can get even our entry models, are 5 watt and 15 watts, so more powerful than what you can do legally with CB, which is maximum 4 watts. And then I think the big difference is just the voice clarity that you get with the MicroMobile product and the GMRS. You also can communicate with standard walkie-talkies on those frequencies. So there's just a lot of benefits to using this GMRS. Not to mention, with our products specifically, we make them, they're lightweight, they're fairly easy to install, and they're relatively inexpensive. They're more expensive than CB, obviously, but they're not at a price point that makes them unattractive to the market. And so we've seen this big transition, including Jeep Jamboree, who has changed over completely from CB and is now, when you go there, they'll be using the GMRS technology, and they promote our product on their website. So we're seeing a lot of things come over, a lot of overlanding of the overlanding community coming over, and I think it's got to do with mostly the power and the clarity of signal.
Okay, and I think that's very true. I mean, and also I think with I'm not a ham amateur radio, so I can't really speak, but those radios are significantly more expensive. You have to have a computer to program them. They're not plug and play. But I do have, like I said, a lot of experience with CB, and I live in Northeast Ohio, salt and winters. You constantly have to retune your antenna, make sure your antenna is grounded. And if you don't have it grounded, you're not going to be able to transmit. You're going to cancel out a lot of other people. And so to me, that was a huge limitation when it comes to the CB, is the tuning. Even just taking the hard top off and putting the soft top on my Jeep, I had to go out with a SWR meter and retune my antenna, just taking the fiberglass off. So that was a huge disadvantage, I thought. Can you just real quickly outline your products? Like, I know you have a bunch of different walkie-talkies. Are they all pretty much the same base to start out with, where the package is a little different what's included in them?
No, so we've got pretty wide variety of walkie-talkies, and we've got some tailored just for business. We have a whole business radio line of products that are meant to be used indoor, local communication. Go through walls and stuff pretty effectively. Kind of have the sleeker, more professional design. These ones you probably don't want to drop. They're not rugged or robust like our outdoor product lines. And then, we've got the outdoor radios, the two-way radios, handheld. And we've got a good variety of those. And a lot of the differences between them would be wattage and frequency. So, I mean, we have some that are specifically for GMRS compared to some that are just for FRS. And then a variety of wattages, powers. We offer some with in packaging, with headsets, things of that nature. So we've got a lot of handheld radios, or the two-way radios. And then another big one that we promote a lot is the MicroMobile, which is what we talked about with you guys. And right now we've got 4 different MicroMobile base units that we offer. We've got the entry point one, which is the MXT 105. So it's only 5 watt, relatively inexpensive, especially compared to some of the higher models. So it's one of those good entry points where you can get it cheaply, learn it. If you like it, then you can upgrade to either one of the 15 watt styles or the 40 watt style like you use. And we've got 2 15 watt styles, the MXT 115 and the MXT 275. The difference between the two of them is the 275 has the controls on the microphone. So if you do not feel comfortable changing controls, or if you plan on changing them while driving, or if you're a distance away from the unit, the 275 is a good product because you can control from your microphone. And with both this, the MXT 105 and the 2 15 watt ones, some advantages there are they're both really easy to install. We've got the magnetic antenna that comes standard with it. We've got the 12-volt charger plug-in, and so you can kind of just plug, Velcro it down, magnetic antenna, and you're good to go. So you can be up and running in just a few minutes. Now, our higher wattage version, that's not the case. The 40 watt, which is what you're running, and you're aware of, you can't plug it into the 12 volt. It's got too much power, so you can't. The 12 volt won't charge it. You've got, do you use through your fuse box or directly to the battery?
I've run it through a fuse box that goes to the battery.
Yep. So there's a little more work on the installation. You've got to either do the direct power connection or through the fuse box. And this doesn't come with its own antenna. So you have to buy an antenna and then, install that on its own. But, the trade-off there is you get a powerful product with a lot of range.
So talk about the antennas. You have 2 antennas that you guys sell, a 6 dB and a 3 dB. The 6 dB, I believe, is just a whip antenna, and the 3 dB is a ghost antenna. If you want to explain what the differences between the two are, other than just the size.
Yeah. So these are the options I think we made available to you. That we have available on the website. With the lower models, we have a standard antenna too, which is I think 2.1 decibel. Flimsy, I think it's like 6 inches, so just a small magnetic base one. But the upsells we have are the ones you mentioned, which is the 32-inch 6 decibel antenna. And so that's 3 times the range of our standard one that we offer prepackaged with the 15 watt and 5 watt MicroMobile. The advantage there is it extends, the range. So you can receive signal, more effectively. The only issue is it's a tall antenna. So if you have clearance issues, if you're in an RV, something like that, it's not your best option. The other one, the ghost antenna, as you mentioned, it's a pretty cool product. It's very low profile. So clearance is not a concern. It's only 3 inches tall. And what you trade off there is the power. So you get about half the decibel with only 3 decibel compared to 6 for the large 32-inch whip antenna. And so it just depends on your situation. If you can afford the clearance, I'm a big fan of the 6 decibel, but if not, or if you're concerned about the aesthetic and don't want a big antenna hanging off, the ghost antenna is a really good product.
Is there any advantage to running a 3 or a 6 decibel antenna for what your situation you are? If you're just talking amongst Jeeps that are in a convoy versus trying to talk to a repeater or something that's pretty far away? Does that make a difference? Like, are you canceling out some with if you bid the 6, are you kind of canceling out some reception?
No, with the 6, you're improving it. With the ghost antenna, you're losing a little bit. Your trade-off is the trade-off, for the ghost antenna, which is only 3 inches tall and the 3 decibel, it will last a lot longer because you're not going to be hitting trees or limbs or anything like that. And it's low profile, so it doesn't stand out if you don't want a big antenna hanging off, but you lose power for it, you lose range.
Okay. A little bit about repeaters. Is there any talk with Midland trying to, get into these more remote sections of Moab and Colorado and stuff like that to try to put repeaters in to work in this network or work with local amateur radio clubs in the area?
I can't say there's any firm plans to do that right now. We do get a lot of customer feedback, and we're so grateful for the online platform and all these reviews we get, and for influencers like you give us this feedback so we can improve the product. And we know that repeaters are important, and that we need our product to be repeater capable, and that way we can extend range and take advantage of leverage all the advantages of the repeater system. So we're working on ways to do that, and separate from us, I think the government, the FCC, is working on their own repeater network for GMRS. So our intentions are, of course, to make sure our product can leverage any infrastructure that's put in place there.
That's really good that the FCC is going to possibly work up some stuff to help us out. I mean, we can pretend no one's talking if it's not going on YouTube. What's the future? What's the future of products coming down the line?
We've got a lot of big plans. And I hinted at a couple of them earlier. I can't get into too much detail, but I can tell you we've got close to a dozen products in the pipeline right now, and we're excited to release several of them here in this coming year, and even more the year after that. So, and these products, they span all of our product lines. So, emergency radios, two-way walkie-talkies, MicroMobiles. We haven't done too many releases in the previous couple of years. We've been working on getting next generation type products, big improvements based on all the feedback we're getting. And so we've got them in the pipeline. They're being actively developed. Some of them are very close to coming out. And you'll know before anyone else does, Rob, because you'll be one of our early test market type of people that we.
I hope so. I didn't put it on the outline. Do you just want to go over some of the weather radios? I kind of forgot that you guys had those out. I have one here in my house that I have. But for those that are interested, do you want to just go over what products you have on that?
Yeah, so we've got a couple different types of standard weather radio, and the function of these, and I don't know, you may have seen some of Bruce Jones. So we've got our meteorologist, one of our big, one of our really helpful guys. We employ a meteorologist, and he goes and talks to people all over the country about how important the weather radio is and why they should have it. And he truly believes every home should have it. And there's a reason for that. It's when you go to some of these events, some of these tornadoes and tragedies that happen, people after the fact, they think they'll get the warning on their cell phone, but it doesn't happen. He's been at events where it's hours after the tornado has gone through, and then they get the alert on their phone.
Oh,
wow.
wow.
And this is because of cell phone latency. So you can't depend on your cell phone. You can't depend on it if you're in a rural area. You can't depend on it a lot of times if you're traveling and you're in a remote area. And you can't depend on it if it's sending out a lot of signals, because cell phone latency is a big thing. And so, having one of these in your home is helpful to anyone. It's especially helpful if you have a mobile home or if you're in an RV, because those don't hold up very well in these type of situations, right? So we offer products like that on our website. We try to to work with local communities and local news stations to make sure people are aware of the danger and have access to the product. And additionally, we have emergency radios, which are, these are designed for, camping, traveling. You take them out, they have weather radio, they've got flashlight, they can solar charge, you can hand crank them for charging. So you always have, some access to signal, and, light, whatever you need to function. So yeah, we've got a few different things. We pretty much make every type of radio that we, can be made, and there's a purpose for all of them. And yeah, I appreciate you bringing up the weather radios. That's a big piece of our business, and we are passionate about getting those in the hands of everyone who needs them, especially some of the more vulnerable people that we talked about.
Well, being in Missouri and right there in Tornado Alley, you guys, you're in the heart of it sometimes. So.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, I think that's all. What is there anything else you want to add about the company and your products or whatever? I'll let the floor up for you.
Yeah, I'll just say we are very excited how well we've been received by the overlanding community. We're glad that you guys like this product, and trust me, keep giving us the feedback, because we want to make it better for you. We've got a whole product team here, and we are focused on, we read the reviews, we read every one of them. We want to know how we can improve it, and we're determined to put out better products for you guys. So use the product, tell us what you think, and we'll come out with something better if there's a way to do that.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Zach, for taking the time and talking with us. And if you guys need more information, what's is your website and social medias? What's all that? What are those handles?
Yep. So our individual website is midlandusa.com. When you Google Midland, we have a factory outlet which is separately operated. Some other stuff might come up, but we're midlandusa.com. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. If you're not following us already on Facebook, we've got a pretty good page there. Do a lot of giveaways, give out swag, radio, shirts, stuff of that nature. So follow us on our social media handles, and give us all the feedback you can.
All right. Well, thank you so much and appreciate it. Have a great day.
Yep. Thank you for having me, Rob.